Hi and welcome to Main Mission Hope. My name's Rob and today I want to share with you a story of transformation in the Catholic Church. A cut down version of the story of Vatican II, the Second Vatican Council, held from 1962 to 1965. This was a pivotal moment that reshaped the Church in ways that still matter today. And to understand the Church we have today, I think we really need to understand Vatican II and what the Church was like before that as well, especially if you're new to Christianity or returning after a long time away. I hope this video helps you see how the Church became more open and welcoming, offering hope and a path to improve your life and the lives of those around you through a Christian life. So let's dive in. Picture the Catholic Church before Vatican II. It's a place of deep tradition. Think about the Mass, the heart of Catholic worship, the main service that happens mainly on a Sunday but other day throughout the week if you're not familiar with it. But it was celebrated entirely in Latin. Most people, 99.999% of the people in the pews, didn't speak Latin, so they would follow along quietly while the priest faced the altar away from them, because this emphasised the sacred mystery of the Eucharist. The Church was very, very hierarchical. There was a clear line between the clergy who led and the laity, the normal people in the pews who followed. Rules and obedience were stressed, and the teachings often felt distant from everyday life. If you've watched any of my videos about the Reformation, some of this might ring a little bit true from that too as well. But the world outside was changing fast. The 20th century had brought wars, new technology and shifting ideas. So people started to wonder, could the Church keep speaking to the world if it stayed so rooted in the past? So one person who saw the need for change was Pope John XXIII. When he became Pope in 1958, he surprised many by calling for Vatican II. He said he wanted to open the windows of the Church to let in fresh air. I think that's an amazing image, isn't it? It's really hopeful. He used the Italian word aggiornamento, and I hope I said that right, meaning bringing up to date. To him, and probably to us looking back now, the Church needed to renew itself, to connect with modern people and to build bridges with other Christians. He believed the Church could stay true to its roots while meeting the world where it was, a world hungry for meaning and justice. Now, not everyone shared his vision, and I think we can understand their concerns. Some bishops and theologians worried that changing too much might weaken the Church's timeless teachings. They valued the Latin Mass and the old ways because those traditions had carried the faith through centuries. Just think about those last 2,000 years, all those terrible things that had happened, but the Church kept going. And during Vatican II, these voices spoke up, arguing to keep things as they were. They feared confusion or a loss of reverence. It wasn't a rebellion, just a deep love for what had been. But the Council pressed forward, balancing tradition with renewal. Now, Vatican II wasn't a quick decision, it was a global gathering. Bishops from every corner of the world came together, joined by theologians and advisors. I haven't seen any of these debates, but I'd imagine they were pretty intense but inspiring. They tackled these massive questions. Should the Mass be in language people could actually speak? How could the Church work with other Christian groups? What about the religious freedom or the role of ordinary Catholics like you and me? After years of discussion, they produced 16 documents, not to rewrite the faith, but to present it in a way that spoke to the modern world. It was a careful, prayerful process. So, what were the changes? The most obvious shift was the liturgy, like the service. And this obviously was a game changer. The Mass moved from Latin to the local language, like English or Spanish. If you've been to a Mass, imagine sitting there and you not being able to understand what the priests were saying compared to what it's like today. The priests now turned to face the people, making worship feel more like a shared experience. Lay people, everyday Catholics, got a bigger role too. You could serve as a lector, so you could read one of the reading the scripture, or you could help distribute the communion. The Church also opened up to the world, encouraging dialogue with other religions and speaking out on issues like poverty and peace. It was a shift towards participation and justice, grounded in Jesus' call to love our neighbours. I think after Vatican II we can see a church that's more approachable. The changes weren't easy. Some felt they went too far. Others felt they didn't go far enough. But for many, it was a breath of fresh air. The church, became a place where we could understand the prayers. We could join in the mission. We could see our faith tied to real world challenges. It's not a museum, it's a living community. Vatican II showed that the church can grow while holding fast to what matters: the gospel, the sacraments, and the love of God. If you're a modern Catholic, Vatican II reminds you that your voice matters in this family of faith. If you're thinking about joining, I hope you see a church that welcomes you, one that's serious about truth but hopeful about the future. To me, Vatican II reflects Jesus' words in Matthew 28:19. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. It's about reaching out, building community, and living a Christian life that lifts those up around you. That's the hope I find here. So Vatican II was a turning point, a moment when the Catholic Church chose renewal over stagnation. I think we can see it made worship more meaningful. It gave lay people like me and you a role and turned the church towards the world's needs, literally with the way that the priests turned around to face the people. If you're exploring Christianity or coming back after years away, I hope this gives you a clearer picture of the church today. It's a place of hope, a way to improve your life and others by living out the gospel. And actually, a final thing I would say as well is that if you're listening to this and thinking, actually, I really wouldn't mind listening to a mass in Latin, that must have been really good, you still can. Churches still do it. They don't shout about it, maybe in the way that they used to, but generally cathedrals will have a Latin mass at some point, and lots of local churches, I think it depends on which priests are there, will hold a Latin mass at certain points as well. So it's still something that you can experience, which is absolutely fantastic. So thanks for listening, and may God bless you on your journey.